Circumference. Can you tell me what measures the outside of a figure? What do you?
Perimeter.
Perimeter. So circumference, same as perimeter. Except when you're measuring the outside of a circle, we don't say perimeter. We say circumference. Say it, but
Circumference.
another term. Radius. And the diameter. If I draw a circle, can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And if I draw a chord all the way across it, stick a point in the middle, all the way across the distance of a circle, the middle of it anyway, is called the diameter. Halfway I don't know why I'm listening. Halfway across is called the radius. So if they gave me the dimensions of the radius, how can I find the diameter? What if the radius was 2 inches? How can I find the diameter? What's the relationship between them? Well, I'm going to tell you. If they give me the radius and I need the diameter, multiply the radius by 2. If they give me the diameter and I need the radius, divide the diameter by 2. Okay, so the relationship is that one is half the other, or one is double the other. All right, let's jump right in. We got vocabulary. All right, B. Let's talk about finding circumference. When we're dealing with geometry, whether we're finding perimeter, circumference, area, surface area, volume, I always tell you guys to begin with the what? What's that F word? Everybody. Formula. Well, I'm adding 2 more to the pot. Begin with the formula. The formula is circumference equals pi times the diameter. And guess what? A new vocabulary term. Pi. And the symbol is like that. And we're going to estimate pi to mean 3.14. But the exact representation of pi is 22/7. We're going to use 3.14. So is that the exact representation of pi? 3.14? People? No. It's rounded. That's the exact representation. If you punch that into a calculator and divided it, it would give you this big long decimal. Okay? But we round it by saying 3.14. Start with the formula, circumference equals pi times diameter. But you're going to write it like this. C equals pi times d. Now you know the absence of a symbol means what operation? Multiplication. So it's okay to stick one in between there, but if you don't see it, know that it still indicates the same operation. Okay? You start with that formula. Okay? Step 2. Substitute the given values into the equation. So if I give you some numbers, you put it in there. Let me give you some. You might have an example that says, find the circumference of a circle. whose radius is 12 centimeters. Okay? Using our buck technique, we would underline what? What would we underline?
The numbers.
Which is 12 centimeters. Okay? What would we circle? Circumference of radius. Okay? We know that means multiply. And I circled these two words because they're new. We always begin with the what? Formula. Call it out to me. Recite it. C equals pi times the diameter. Eyes on me, pencils down. Do I know what circumference is? No, I'm finding it, so it remains a C. I already know, what am I using for pi? What am I using for pi? Everybody.
3.14.
So when I see this symbol, I know to insert what constant? All right. How do I write it? In parentheses? Yeah, I would. And parentheses indicates what operation? And what's the diameter? Do I know? No, but I know the what? Radius. What's the radius? 12 centimeters. And I should have put the word is right there. Whose radius is 12 centimeters? Well, if I know the radius, how can I find the diameter? Multiply by 2. Who didn't know that? Okay? Remember, the radius is halfway. So if I draw a circle, I'm halfway, I'm at 12. Well, I need to go all the way. So that would be 12 what? Plus 12. You got it? Okay. So it'd have to be 24. And then I punch that in my what? Handy dandy. For right now. But when you do it tonight, you better be doing it by hand. So what's the circumference, Pete? Help me out. I guess I got some nerve telling y'all not to punch it in. 75 and 36 hundredths centimeters. Okay, that's it. Okay, go ahead and write. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and erase this part up here. Remember, for pi, we always use what? Everybody. Everybody.
3.14.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll erase this. Okay. We're going to erase this part too. I'm going to start with C, area of a circle. Pencils down. Don't worry. Okay. Did everybody at least get to here? Okay. C is it. C is it. And there's no more. Area of a circle. Begin with the what? All right. Begin with the formula. So the formula is area equals pi times radius squared. But you're going to write it like this. A equals pi radius squared. What does r squared look like? If I didn't understand exponents, how else could I write this? Say it again. That's what I'm talking about. A equals pi times r times r. That exponent tells me to write the base how many times? 2. So if that's too confusing for you, break it down. Okay? Now let me give you an example. Let's say, can I erase this? Don't worry. This is being recorded. Be able to go back and watch it. Okay. And I'm going to upload this, and your homework will be to go home and watch it. You won't get your assignment until tomorrow. Okay? We'll experiment with this. The example may be, find the area of a circle whose diameter is 16 inches. Okay? Now, what if I wanted to draw that? Drawing that circle. My problem gave me 16 inches, so in accordance with Buck, I'm going to underline that. I'm going to circle those words. So it's going to be some multiplying going on. Okay? Diameter, Jacorian, what's diameter look like? Does diameter go all the way across the circle or halfway?
Halfway.
Is he right?
No.
Which one goes halfway? The long way. Okay? Go all the way across. How long is that diameter?
16.
16 inches. Just remember that. Go back to your formula. Back to your formula. Okay? My formula says A equals pi r squared, or A equals pi times r times r. Okay? I don't know what A equals, but I do know what pi is. What's pi? Everybody.
3.42.
What's my radius? Does the problem give me the radius?
No.
It gives me diameter. So if all the way is 16 across, Kenyon, what's halfway? No, what's half of 16? All the way is 16, so what's half? Yeah, if I do 8 plus 8, I get 16. Okay, so the radius is 8. If I wanted to write it like this, pi doesn't change, but I can do radius times radius. Okay, do I have to put those dots? No, I can write it inside parentheses, which is really the way you need to write it. Okay, and then what would I do? Multiply. A equals 3.14. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. Distributive property, this gives me what? Somebody. Who? 296 hundredths inches. Same deal here. Inches squared there, because we're finding area. Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right, that tells you you can hit